everybody. Welcome back. It's Wendy Sellers, the HR lady, and welcome to all of our new listeners. We, JC and I, are excited to announce that our show is now featured on Podcast Radio US. So you can tune in and join our vibrant community of HR professionals and enthusiasts.
Yeah, that's right. Feel free to catch us live over the air as well in Detroit on 93.5 FM and WCSX 94.1 HD2. If you're in Tampa, set your dial to 1010 WHFS AM. And for our listeners in Charlotte, North Carolina, we're on 94.7 FM and WSOC HD3. And last but not least, for those in Florida, Fort Myers or Naples, we're broadcasting on 96.5 FM, 101.5 FM, and 105.1 FM, as well as WXKB HD2.
Woo, woo, woo. So exciting. And it's all thanks to you listeners. We appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in. And let's go ahead and dive in today's exciting HR topic. We have an amazing guest, an employee benefits consultant and the president of Ethos Benefits, Chelsea Ryckis. Hi, Chelsea.
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me on the podcast.
Yeah. Did I pronounce that right? Ethos?
You absolutely nailed it. Ethos Benefits and Chelsea Ryckis. Well done.
Awesome. Awesome. Hey, I want to talk about, because our listeners are, business owners, HR people that need to wear the HR hat, buy insurance for their employees. I want to talk about holding benefits brokers accountable. Little side note for our listeners, I actually do have my health insurance license. And the only reason I got it was not to sell, because I hate selling. I hate even selling my own stuff. But the only reason I got it was to hold benefits brokers accountable. So when they come at my clients, I go, whoa, 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 back off here. I know what you're talking about. I don't want to be selling insurance, but you are going to have to go through this wall over here. Uh-oh, JC has a question.
Yeah, as we're setting it up too, what is a benefits broker? Like, I don't even get it. I don't know.
I can take that
Chelsea
one if
can
you
answer
want.
that. Yeah, for sure.
Well, so it's actually a little bit of a hot topic right now, a benefits broker versus a benefits advisor. And one of the most prestigious awards in the industry used to be called the Benefits Pro Broker of the Year. This year, they just changed it to Benefits Pro Advisor of the Year, just to give you some color commentary around it. A broker, in the traditional sense of the word, is somebody that's really selling you product, right? Exactly what Wendy was talking about, was she's like, I'm going to get my license and I'm going to hold these folks accountable for what they're selling. An advisor or a broker or a benefits consultant is going to be usually fee-based. So they're not selling products. They're actually working like a CPA or an attorney for their client. So that's what we do. We are fee-based benefits consultants. We do not get paid from insurance companies. Brokers, 99.9% of the time, are getting paid from insurance companies. So there might be bonuses, indirect compensation, commission, all of these misaligned incentives as to, and this is kind of it's a really hot topic right now with the Consolidated Appropriations Act and fiduciary prudence and doing your due diligence on your broker. When are they getting paid? Why are they getting paid? How are they getting paid? Who is paying them? The fraud, waste, and abuse within the healthcare system is rampant. And unfortunately, brokers are part of the problem.
Yeah, it really is. And,
wow.
And a side note to our, I know. It's big. It's a lot of money.
Even before your side note, real quick, Wendy, I mean, the global employee benefit broker market was estimated to be $43.01 billion US dollars in 2023. It's expected to reach $44.53 billion in 2024. And with the explanation between advisor and broker, I could immediately, off the cuff, think of a handful of people that I've met in the HR arena that are on the advisor side, not the broker side, and things are a little shady. Wow. You opened my eyes a little bit. I didn't mean to say too much, but wow. I'm sorry there.
No, you're so spot on. And this is the conversation. I literally spoke to an HR and a controller yesterday, a decent sized company, a few hundred employees, and even smaller. This is always the case. I'm showing them options for their renewal. They're not my client yet, but actually today they decided to be our client, which is great. But we're having a conversation and I showed them a bunch of options and I said, if you were to choose this, this is how and when I get paid. If you choose this, this is how and when I get paid. This is how much I make. I will not take bonuses. I will not take trips, extra incentives. We don't take dinners, any of that crap. We work for you. Like, this is the fee that you pay me. There's no commission. Okay. And the controller and the HR were like, wait, what? We've been doing this for 15 years together, and not once has anybody ever shared with them, a broker or an advisor, how and when and why they're paid. The big thing too is if you have a large enough of a company, you might be thinking to yourself, well, we do our 5500s. We get those Schedule A's from the carrier. That might include commission, but what that's not including is indirect compensation. And a lot of the times the bonuses paid to brokerages on their book of business from a carrier are exponential. I'll give you an example.
And by the way, Chelsea, real quick, thank you for specifying further. It was getting confusing to me, advisor versus broker. Now I'm starting to understand a lot more. Good. Thank you. Please continue. Didn't mean to interrupt you.
Well, just a quick example for you guys and for the HRs listening. This is so important. The Consolidated Appropriations Act of 2021 mandated that brokers show their compensation, indirect and direct, before you make your renewal decision. So you should have, before you decide on what your plan options are, you should know exactly how all the payment is happening, bonuses included. What I notice all the time, and this is notorious, especially for the bigger the brokerage, the bigger the bonuses from carriers. We're working with one of our clients right now. They're acquiring another company. The other company has a large publicly traded broker. I asked for all the information and they had a consulting agreement, but in italics at the very, very bottom, it said, our fee is $30 per employee per month, which seemed fair for the size of the group, but the amount of work. It was a very simple, fully insured health plan. In italics, so small, you need like a magnifying glass to see it, subject to 5% bonus, which was about $350,000 extra of compensation they weren't telling them about.
Oh.
Yeah. So holding your broker accountable, number one, is asking indirect and direct compensation. You want them to be fee-based, right? They shouldn't make more money when your premium goes up. That's backwards. And then number two, holding your broker accountable is, are they actually fixing your healthcare problem? And there's only one way to do that, and that's to focus on the claims.
Yep. Exactly. And, it's so interesting. How I found you is on LinkedIn, and I saw that you posted this case study that I wanted you to discuss. And I immediately contacted you. I said, I love this case study. I need to have you on my podcast. And what did you say to me? You're like, oh my God, an HR person that gets it. I'm like, well, I do have an unfair advantage. I have 2 healthcare administration degrees, and then I also have a master's in human resources, and then I have the licenses and a bunch of other things too. So have a little bit of an unfair advantage, but even I didn't know all the recent changes that are going on. And the side note that I wanted to mention before is while Chelsea is the expert here today, she actually was just named the Benefit Pros Advisor of the Year. So congratulations.
Go on.
And thank you. More than congratulations, thank you. Thank you for stepping up to people who are probably my clients that need the help and could be using that money for something else that could be helping their company and their employees. So with that said, if you would care to explain the case study to our listeners, that would be fantastic.
And I've never heard this case study, so I'm on pins and needles myself right now.
Perfect.
It was the one about that the patient on the medical plan needed a finger skin graft.
Yeah, I got it here. So there was a patient on a medical plan, and this isn't a large company, maybe a few hundred, right? So a lot of the times people think that, you have to have a really big company to solve your healthcare problem. Number one, that myth is being dispelled. We can actually solve the healthcare problem with any size company. So in this case study, this employee was bit by a spider, really unfortunate. And he actually had to get some fingers amputated.
Oh, God.
Yeah. They needed to do a skin graft. So the hospital pre-authorized the skin graft claim and said, all right, health plan, we're going to charge you $85,000 to do a skin graft on this gentleman's finger.
Chelsea, this wasn't happening at like a finger modeling agency or anything like that, though, right? No, don't laugh. Come on. Okay, all right. 85 grand.
85 grand, which I'm glad seems, a little out there to you, because part of the problem with the healthcare system is the overcharging, overbilling issue, right? So 85,000 for a skin graft.
In the U.S.
For reference.
In the U.S.
In the U.S.
In Mexico, it's probably $85. Understood.
But you lose all your fingers.
Right.
No,
Yeah, who knows?
I was just kidding. That was terrible.
Bad jokes.
But
It's all
for
good.
reference, I feel like it's welcome here, right?
Yeah.
So
Yes, it is.
they charge the plan 85,000, or they pre-auth it at 85,000. And for reference, Medicare is the largest insurer in the entire country. Do you have any guess what Medicare pays for that exact same procedure?
Yes. Yes.
I know, because I read the case study.
Yeah. No.
Okay, JC, your turn.
I have an educated guess that they paid 25%.
$1,700 versus 85,000.
All right. My math's not good.
I mean, but
Wow.
you're on the right track.
Wow.
You're on the right track. So Medicare, the largest insurer in the entire country, pays $1,700 for a skin graft, but the hospital wanted my client's health plan to pay $85,000. And that's the thing that we need to understand in this country. There is not a cost per service being received. There is a cost per payer. And if you're a commercial plan, if you're an employer, you are going to pay more for that reason alone. And it's BS. And that's how we get to the root cause. So what happened was we said, hey, doctor, do you happen to perform this surgery anywhere else? And he's like, yes, actually I do, at an ambulatory surgical center right down the road. We got the same doctor, same procedure, just at a different facility 2 miles away for $5,000 and saved our client 80 grand on one claim.
Oh my God.
But this is the stuff that's happening every single day in our health plans.
Every single day, because because people don't know about it. People don't know about it at all. And even HR, I mean, most people in HR or finance or business management, our listeners, CEOs, CFOs, COOs, like, this is an entire industry that is built to make money, which means take money from you, not help you. So we appreciate so much what you're doing.
I couldn't help but run the numbers there on the stories. So $1,700 is 2% of 85,000, where $1,700 is 34% of 5,000. Wow.
Unbelievable. And so this is literally happening every single day. And the difference between a broker and working with an advisor is a broker is actually benefiting from this, because next year when your renewal comes and they say, oh, sorry, here's your 15%. You had cancers, you had premature babies, you had this crazy skin graft for 85 grand. That's the justification for renewal, is your claims were bad. Well, if that's what you're being told is the problem every single year, the only question HRs, CFOs, controllers that you should be asking is, what are we doing to impact the frequency and the severity of claims? If that's the reason that I get screwed every single year, what are we actually doing to change it? Not, let's go to Blue Cross Blue Shield, or let's go to UHC, or let's try Cigna. Those are band-aids. You have to get to the root cause. And Wendy, to your point, employers, unfortunately, and HR, a lot of the times they're so busy doing other things that this just seems like this colossal problem, right? And they're also being taught by brokers and hospitals and everybody that there's nothing they can do about healthcare. It's just a crappy situation and get over it, budget for it. But everybody in the system is profiting off of them believing that lie. We produced a documentary. It's coming out on Amazon Prime later this year. And it's all about this. It's all about employers and the big lie that they can't do anything about their healthcare. And it's this kind of stuff happening behind the scenes every single day. That is how you save money. And HR wasn't involved in this. CFO wasn't involved in this. This was our team doing our job as consultants.
Right. So let me ask you a question for our listeners here, is if now their listeners are saying, okay, well, I want to use an advisor instead of a broker. Can they do that? Or they still have to use both?
No, they would want to replace their broker. There are situations that we've been in where, there's a long-standing relationship and they don't want to get rid of the broker. So they'll bring in an advisor on top of that. And basically in those situations, I end up just teaching the existing person how to do the right thing because they just don't know. But most of the time it's going to be a replacement of the existing person. And just like I really encourage HR to think of your benefits program, your insurance program, and your advisor as two separate decisions. you should be looking at the capabilities of your advisor. Do they work as fiduciaries? Are they working on a fee? Are they making more money when you get passed on an increase, right? Are they getting these big crazy bonuses from carriers? All those things. You can make that decision separately from your insurance. You could stay with United. You could stay with whoever you love and care about on the medical and all of that, and just choose a different advisor. A lot of the times people think like, oh, if I'm going to work with an advisor, I need to make this, or a different broker, I need to make a big change. I really recommend looking at it as two kind of separate decisions. Like, who's actually aligned with the goals of my company? Who's going to sit on the same side of the table and not BS me that, like, it is what it is, your claims are high, but who's going to solve the problem? That's a different decision than, do I want United, Blue Cross, Cigna, you know?
Yeah, it really is. And it's very similar. I don't know the terminology right now off the top of my head, but it's very similar with 401k. There's different type of agents and administrators and fiduciaries. And most people don't know that as well in HR. And again, it's not our fault. We're expected to do a lot in HR. We're expected to be in charge of brokers and 401k and, securities and all this stuff. And then also recruit and train people and make sure that we're getting their IDs. Yeah. So, if you are listening today and you're saying, I need to know more, please reach out to myself, reach out to Chelsea. Chelsea, how can people find you? And everybody, we will make sure that we have her contact information in the podcast release, but where can people find you? What's the easiest way?
LinkedIn, Chelsea Ryckis, or Chelsea at ethosbenefits.com. And I'm just happy to offer any advice. We actually put together a really cool RFP that you can use to go out and interview consultants. So you don't necessarily, have to work with me. There's just this global movement happening of transparency, and employers are waking up to the fact that there's a better way to do it. So I would love to share my resources just to help you on that journey.
Awesome. Thank you. JC, anything left to add?
I'm totally blown away. I really am. And I got so confused in the beginning between broker and advisor. And you, Chelsea, you broke that down so simple and explained it in such a way that I have deep-seated fear about meeting a broker and trusting them ever again in my entire life now. That's all.
I understand.
Sorry to the brokers who are listening, but all I would say to the brokers who are listening that are good people is make sure you brag about this stuff and what your company does and how much money that you have saved your employers as well. And then we will go back to trusting brokers again and making sure that we understand this. And then the last thing I did want to say is, I briefly mentioned the thing about the 401k too, is there's similar confusion and category and stuff like that with 401k. So I encourage you, if you have a 401k plan, to make sure that you have the right advisor, fiduciary, you have the right team there as well, because you don't know what you don't know. So that's why we're here listening to our show today. With that said, thanks everybody for attending. Thank you so much, Chelsea. I appreciate it. And other than that, take care, everybody. Know if you want to hear anything else. And thank you for getting us on the radio.